Hi, Mary. Great to see you.
Hi,
So,
Fergal. Thanks for the chat.
yeah, I just want to. We have the national conference coming up in November. So, I suppose the first question to ask you is, could you tell us where it's on, when's it on,
Yeah.
etc.?
So conference for us is kind of like a 2 day affair, really, because we make an occasion out of it. So the conference will run. The main conference runs on the 15th of November in the Cork International Hotel, which is a hotel that's very close to the Cork Airport, and that most people know it as the airport hotel in Cork, really. So the actual kind of the meat of the conference happens on the 15th, which is a Saturday. But the evening before, we host a gala dinner. And during that, we also we do our awards presentations. So we have awards are presented to Volunteer of the Year, Carer of the Year, and Person of the Year. And that's really kind of a focus on really the achievements in the community over the last 12 months. And it's kind of a focal point of our year as well. So we have the dinner the night before. Lots of people travel to that. They stay overnight at the hotel, and then they're good and ready for the information elements of national conference the following day on the Saturday, which is the 15th.
And could you just tell us about the theme, actually? What is the theme for
Sure.
this? Yeah.
So the conference title is Living with MS: Conversations on Care, Connection and Mental Health. So for our conference this year, we wanted to have a focus on mental health. And the reason for that really is that in our the last time we did the My MS My Needs survey, which was 2022, so it was kind of launched later on. Um, but one of the findings of that research and what came across really strongly in terms of the needs of the community were the needs around mental health and the recognition of mental health as an area that requires greater attention and greater support. So we wanted to have this conference with a focus on that. So with that in mind, then we have a number of speakers that will um, speak to that and provide information and some of the latest evidence. But also, it's an opportunity for people when they hear this that they can reflect on their own experiences, but also hear about how they might incorporate some of the learnings that they hear about into their daily routines and that kind of thing.
And how long does the deal, how long does it last then? It starts, what
Okay,
time
yeah.
start,
So
finish?
on the 15th, so that's the Saturday, registration opens at 9. We'll begin quite promptly at 10 o'clock. Our CEO, Ava Battles, will give a welcome address, and then the speakers start really from then. It's quite a packed schedule. We try not to overpack it, but it's a bit of a challenge because we have everybody there to kind of listen to these speakers. So we try and strike that balance where we have enough speakers, but then we have enough space for people to connect with each other, because that's the other big element of national conferences. It's an opportunity for people to maybe meet people that they haven't seen for a while, and meet others as well. It's as much about networking and connecting as it is about hearing some of the latest developments. So we have a range of speakers. We have Dr. Rona Moss Morris is opening with her. She's traveling from the UK. She does a lot of work with the MS Society in the UK as it happens, and she'll be giving a keynote address around psychological adjustments in a changing body. So she's going to speak to some of the evidence and research that she's been working on in the UK. We will have other speakers later on in the day uh, giving an overview on sexuality, fatigue, thinking skills, that sort of thing. And then Susan Coote will be giving a session, or she'll be facilitating a session on the mental health benefits of physical activity. And we'll also have a separate session for carers if they choose to attend. And that's really a workshop around how they build resilience in their own lives. We have another speaker coming from a more local speaker, Professor Simon Cronin, and he will be looking or speaking to the treatment element of MS. That's always something that people want to hear about in terms of the latest developments. So he will speak to that.
Excellent. So great program. Already we've had, and just to let people know also that all the details about registration, etc., are
Mhm.
down below. But we had Louise Parr from Mayo. She spoke lovely on another video about from the point of view of someone with MS about the benefits that she got from going to it. So do you see that as somebody working in MS Ireland from that perspective? Do you see the value of it for people going to these conferences?
Oh, 100%. Like you see the interactions that people have with each other, and that's obviously really, really valuable. And what really struck me from last year, and we're incorporating this into this year's conference as well, is that piece around the lived experience. So as part of conference, we will have a panel discussion which will be facilitated by Judith Spring, around the idea of goal setting and how once you are able to plan or to think to plan and to do something, um, goal setting can be really, really useful, and a useful tool. And with that, we have a panel discussion on that theme. And I'm kind of going round in circles here a little bit. But last year we had a panel discussion around a different theme, but I really felt that having the lived experience incorporated into the lineup is a really valuable way of um, profiling individual experience and having it so that people can learn from others. The idea of learning from people like me, I think that's probably one of the most powerful ways to develop understanding and really learning from each other. It's all about peer-to-peer learning, and I think that is often what we hear is most valuable.
Yeah, this will be my third conference, and personally, I get an awful lot out of it. And it's a lovely, because there's a lovely atmosphere in the room when you see a community coming together. So, not just the speakers, I think even interacting, even simple things like, just say, Louise, who's our MS Readathon ambassador last year, she was talking to the previous ambassador, Orla, and Orla mentioned it to me, and things like that, like connecting, as you said. That's a magical kind of thing, I think, about going to a conference in person.
Well, I think as well, like, I mean, the conference is in Cork this year. Last year it was in Monaghan. So like obviously there'll be more people from kind of the southern region of the country attending than other regions, and we would expect that. But what I think, like, people travel as well. Like, I was talking to a colleague there earlier today, and there are people traveling from Louth and Cavan. They're organising kind of transport amongst themselves. And what I think it enables is that widening of experience, as it were. When you connect with people that you wouldn't normally connect with, it just adds to it really, and adds to the atmosphere, which is, it's friendly, it's warm. We have staff there who are on hand as well to kind of chat to people and do any pieces of work or any follow up there as well. So it's broader than coming to something or coming to a conference to just listen to speakers. It's broader than that, I think is fair to say.
Exactly. So thank you so much, Mary, for that. I think you've really summed it up perfectly. And hopefully we get to see lots of people at the conference.
Bookings are looking good, so we're expecting it to be very full and a really interesting couple of days.